Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to make this Kumi beaded rope. So this is going to be a Kumihimo project that we go in and we talk about the cord, we talk about the rope, whether or not you want to do it with colorful cord and no beads or beads. You can watch this video to learn how to do it and add your beads and also how to kind of keep your cords in line. If you need any of the knotting cord or beads, look below the video in the description. You can get links there to get back to our website. And if you are a box subscriber, this is one of your kits. So happy Kumihimo, let's get started. So the very first thing we are going to do is take our scissors and take our cord here. And we are going to take this cream colored 0.5 cord and we are going to cut 8 pieces that are going to be a total of 5 feet. 5 feet will get you up to a 20-inch necklace. So we're going to go 5 feet for me. That's my arm's length. And cut. If you want to, you can do 10 feet and go ahead over and turn it over. I'm going to keep it really simple. 5 feet. We're now going to do this 8 more times to get our strands. Want to learn how to become a jewelry making expert? With PotomacBeads Jewelry Making Kits, you can create unique and customized bracelets, earrings, necklaces, and pendants. Every kit uses only premium materials and is hand-packed in the USA. Whether you're new or you've been crafting for years, these kits provide an immersive experience allowing you to create beautiful projects with ease. Visit PotomacBeads.com/kits today or click on the link in the description below. Once your 8 strands are cut at approximately 5 feet, I'm going to take it about 3 to 4 inches down and I'm going to tie a knot. So that way all the cords are coming through and keeping that distance at the end. From here, you can decide if you want to go ahead for a little bit of weight. Take out your button and tie your button onto the end of the cord. How are you tying the button? Really, really simple. Grab one strand. You're going to go up through the back of the button, down through the front of the button, and just let that hang out there for weight. If you want to, you can go ahead, split the cords, and tie a knot. If you've done Kumihimo before, you know that tension is important. I'm not going to bother doing another knot just in case I have to undo this, but that's going to be the end of my cord to keep it nice and simple. Now what we're going to do is take our disc here, and this is our Kumihimo disc. If you want to, you can see the north, south, east, west is on there. I'm going to be turning clockwise as I work. If you would like to, you can take a marker and actually draw your arrows so you know which way you're turning. This is the most important thing as you set up your Kumihimo, that you know which way you're turning for this particular style of Kumi. We're going to take our button, drop it down to the middle of our disc here, bring all those extra cords down, and now we're going to set up the Kumihimo. To set up the Kumihimo, we are going to take our first strand and put it to the top through the bottom there. That is north, south, east, west. We're going to take another one. We're going to put it on the other side of the north. From here then, we're going to go east, 2 sides to the E, 1 and 2. 2 more are going to go to the south, 1 and 2. And it really doesn't matter for this setup which way goes which. We do want to try to, as we're doing this, get it established in the middle of the disc. So our cord, when we look, is in the middle. And then same thing here, we're going to go in and put 2 at the west. If you notice right away that there's cords kind of crossing over, you can go in now and fix that, taking those and putting them in here. Now, I like to get started on my disc just like this because it kind of keeps those strands out of the way as we feed beads on. Do you need to feed beads on? No, you do not need to feed beads on the strand, but we're going to because we are doing a beaded Kumihimo. We're going to do an open Kumihimo at the start here, and then we're going to go into a beaded section. In the sample piece that I made here, I did some graduation where I did a 4mm and then a 6mm bead. We're going to take our 4mm bead and actually mix it into our supplies. Here we have a collection of some seed beads along with some 4mm crystals. These are 8 Azuki seed beads, and they are going to fit onto the end of our cord. Go ahead and dump a little pile out here of our color mix. It's 5 different colors mixed together. And then we're going to do the same thing for our crystals. Now look, I'm just putting the crystals as a mix in there. I'm going to take the end of one of my cords here, and we are going to feed on a total of 25 of our beads, and we are going to, 30 of our beads, and then we're going to put 30 again on. It's up to you whether or not you want to do all 60 at once. I get sick of picking them up, so usually I'll do kind of half and then keep going. But if you want to, you can go in and you're going to put them all on. The easiest way is to pick up each strand individually, put those on. If you notice, hey, this is not really going through, it's because the bad cut was done on your piece here. Your beads should kind of go right through here. And as they go right in, after the first 5 beads on the strand, you can go in and start mixing together the crystals. So I want to make sure that at the beginning of your 60 beads, 5 beads before you put on a crystal, and then at the end, 5 beads left after it. So when you get to beads number 55 to 60, you're going to do that. See how I'm not struggling a little bit to get that bead on? What we want to do is do a nice simple cut here. So you want a better cut. See how that's going in, and these scissors aren't great. What I would do is switch over to sharper scissors, to my snip and slips, or to my fiber scissors here, and then you get a nice cut. So I have on 4, 5, and 6 of my beads here. After I have, or 5 of my beads here, sorry. After I have 5, now I can start adding in the crystals wherever I want. So this here is going to basically be a pixelated design that we are not having any consistency in the coloration. In the sample piece, what I did was went in and just used a metallic mix as well too. So even if we do 2 crystals, we can do that. And keep loading and loading and loading on. Once you have your number of beads that you need, you're going to tie a knot, and then I'm going to show you how to put on the bobbin. So I now have 60 beads on one of my cords here, and you can see that I started and ended making sure that I didn't have any of the crystals on. For the 60 crystals, you can have approximately 8-ish, 7-ish crystals per strand. You can go heavy on one, light on the other. And what I'm going to do here at the end then is tie a knot. Having that knot on, then you're going to open up your bobbin. Take your cord at the bottom there, hold that knot kind of right against the bottom, and you are going to roll. So we're just rolling this off, which we're going to be pulling cord through as we have the beads there. And then right before the beads, I'm going to close it, pop it, and that is number 1 cord done. Now I've got to do 60 more beads on every other cord that's in here. Again, if you're struggling with the cord, you can do a nice perfect cut. You can also go in and heat up the end so it doesn't fray. It'll make a little bit of a ball there. And one way to do it is to take your pliers then and make a really long string. See that in there? That really long string? That will act as a needle if you want to. That's on the end of your piece. Pull it until it doesn't pull anymore. Go in, cut like that. And now I can go in and I can add all of my beads. Really, really simply with that super straight edge. So once I'm again have those 4 beads in, and this is one of the reasons I love the knotting cord because it's super easy to use. So I have 5 beads on. I'll stick one of my crystals on. And the last one I used 12 crystals. So this one, and you don't want to put a crystal right always at 5 because otherwise you're going to group them up totally at the 5 station there. You can see those going on. And this one here, I'll put that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, just 5 crystals because I already have one on. Go through again, put your 60 beads on, and whoops, keep loading, keep loading, keep loading, and do all 8 of your strands. So once you get everything strung into your bobbins, it's time to start your Kumihimo. You have 2 strands that are sitting equal distance around the circle. We're going to remain that equal distance the whole time we're working. We're going to begin with going to the bottom left, which is to the left of the S, and we're going to come over the top and go to the top left. We're now going to go take the top right. If I can grab the top right, there we go. And we're going to go to the bottom right. So notice how we moved one position off from the N and off from the S. We're now going to turn our wheel in the direction that our arrows are going and do the same thing, going from the E, left to left, top right to bottom right. Turn, bottom. Well, and I like to hold it up as you're doing it. So you're going to see what's going to happen underneath is you're going to get all twisted. So you want this to sit up before you get twisted. You can also put your beads in there as you're going. But again, you're just going to go top to the right or top to the left and down to the right. Spin. And once again, same thing. Up to the left, down to the right. Spin, really not complicated. Up to the left, down to the right. Now, what happens if you have to go and take a break? Spin it, go up to the left and hold it. When you're there, you can see exactly which one needs to come over the top. So this top right one is going to come down to the bottom right. This whole time here, we're just working with just the threads until we get to a point where we are a couple inches in. We are going to start with 3 inches of cord here, and then we're going to go in and start our beading. If you want it to be a little bit longer, 4 inches of cord will be your start. So just to show you a little bit of a different angle here, here's what I'm doing. Is I like to hold it. You can put it over a bottle if you want to. I like to hold it up. I don't like to put my beads in the bobbin. I like to just work with it as I'm turning it here. It's almost like a mobile as you're turning it. And as I turn it, I bring those whole bobbins down so that way I don't get the bobbins twisted up. As I start to lose thread, I'm going to go in and I just pull that bobbin down, which will release a little bit of the thread at the top. Continuing to turn around here, I'm going to do this for, again, a total of about 3 inches. Now, that being said, as you do the 3 inches, you're going to get to a point where your cord needs to get pulled down and pulled tight. They do sell weights. I usually just put a fishing anchor on the bottom that you can do that, or you can just pull down when you're working on it. So there is a weighted aspect when it comes to the middle. I'm pulling down on those middle extra cords as I'm working on it and as I'm turning it, so that way my cord gets nice and expanded in the middle and stretched out to its full max. The tighter you do this, the nicer that braid will be. So you're just kind of keeping that nice formation as you turn around the piece, and it becomes very, very hypnotic almost, and almost meditative. The center then will grow down and you'll have that cord that starts to show in the knotted position. After, again, those 3 inches and really kind of stretching that down in the middle, I'll show you how we start putting in the beads. I just wanted to show you that as it starts to come out the bottom, it starts to look like this braid. And here's where I was saying I give a nice tight pull because it will expand and stretch. And you want that stretch to happen from you, not naturally, because then it's going to get longer than you want it to be. So go ahead in and stretch that as it's coming through. And again, if you need more cord there, you just pull some of that cord out the bobbin and continue on. Once you have 3 to 4 inches, now is the exciting time where you get to add your beads. So I'm going to take my bottom left there. First bead goes in, and you want it to go underneath the 2 cords that are on the left-hand side. Take that cord then over the top and tuck it in. One at the bottom now, or that's going to the bottom. You take your bead, drop it into that little section in between. After this first one, it's pretty easy. So don't worry too much if it's not exactly in the middle there. I'm spinning, lifting up so you can see it a little bit more, grabbing my bead, using my finger, tucking it underneath, and pulling that cord over where it belongs. Next one, bead goes up, just single bead at a time, and this one will start to go so much faster and you get so much more length, which is super exciting. Next one, bead goes up, gets tucked underneath, and cord comes across. Next one, bead goes up, tucked underneath there, and across. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer so you can see that in action. As I turn, bead goes in between and across. Bead from the top goes in between those two and across. Turn, grab your bead, tuck it underneath and in between there and across. In between and across. As you do this, you're going to want to pull this as well. I'm going to do a couple more, untangling them here, dropping the bead in, and taking it across. Dropping the bead in, and taking it across. As you add, you're going to start to see what looks like almost a crocheted rope version of the piece here, coming right off of that knot, and you see the beads fitting right and in place. You can then, if you want to, increase in size, which I did on the sample piece here, or just keep to the small seed beads, and like I've done, mixed in one of the crystals. The crystal getting mixed in will mix in like normal, just as you're going across and turning to do your next one with the bead in. As you get, again, remember, to that fifth one, you have the opportunity for one of the crystals to be there. We're going to continue to build this as we work on it. And what's going to happen is you're going to have one cord that runs out of beads first. That's going to be your end, or you can add some more beads to the other cord, or to that cord as well if you want to, cutting off the knot and adding some more beads. We're going to keep going as our beads grow coming out the bottom of our kumi. So you might get to a point where you have more beads on one strand and you're out of beads on the other. You have to make a decision whether or not you're going to cut the knot at the bottom and add some more beads, or whether or not you are finished with the piece itself, depending on the length that you want. I'm going to be finished, and the reason that there is a difference in length is, one, I got bored and stopped counting. Two, the bicones, when there's more, will start to add some length to the design as well too. So I'm going to go in now that I don't have any more beads and cut off the knot at the bottom of the piece and take off all the remaining beads. Again, if you want to, you can add a couple beads to make it a little bit longer. Once you're done with the rope portion of beads here, what you're going to do is start the portion again of just the raw cord. If you don't want the raw cord showing, you could have, if you wanted to, gone in and started the beads earlier as well, or you can even do it as a pretty bracelet there. You can see how that is on. This is also a little hack for some bead crochet. It looks very similar and it's very, very easy. I'm going to go in now and cut off the extra seed beads at the end, taking off the knot. I'm just taking it out of my cord here. Once that's out, you can decide whether or not you want to put it back into the bobbin, or if you just want the cords to hang, go in, chop that off, take off those extra beads, and then we're going to start with our knotting again, just with the cord. So now is the fun when we get to take this off the spool. So all you're going to do is remove your cords here, just like that. Pull through, and we are going to make a knot. Now remember, we have the button on one side and we're going to make a loop on this side. So there's two ways that we can make the loop, and see how I have my knot there? I'm going to individually pull each cord. Remember, just like I showed you to put the beads on and to make that long piece of kind of needle-like strand, that same technique can be used to burn the cord down and to make it nice and soft. All I'm going to do is go in and see the size of my button, making sure that the loop can go through. And because we have 8 cords, I'm just going to go in here and we are going to separate out 4 and 4 to get the right distance basically for the button. And that's just for me. You can braid it if you want or knot it. And then I'm going to take my cord here and I'm going to knot right after where the button will fit through. Now, for a little added extra fun, you don't have to do this, but you can add a bead to the end of these cords before you go in and cut them, which will appear right on the back of the neck. So you can go in, add a bead or 2, cut, or sorry, knot, then cut, then go in, burn down to the knot, and that's it. I'm going to do that 7 more times to make my loop and fit my button inside. Once you go in then and burn down the other ends of your cord, you can take your button there and put that in. You can see when the button pulls then, you have that fun little charm action on the side and your necklace is completed. Again, mine with this 60-ish beads on is about 18 to 20 inches. You're going to get a little bit more length as this kind of stretches out, and you can pull it to stretch it as you go. You can always add, again, a couple more beads. I have a bunch more beads if you need to. Another little advice, take your extra cord here, which is about 14 inches. And you have enough here to do a bracelet if you want to. So I tied it afterwards, and I'll keep that on if I want to make a matching bracelet or even a fun pair of earrings where the fringe hangs down from it. And that is how you complete your beaded Kumihimo necklace. Thanks so much for joining me in this fun knotting technique. It's really a everyday sort of necklace. It looks like bead crochet, but it's done really easily with that disc. Remember, if you do need any supplies because you're not a subscriber, although if you want to be a subscriber, make sure that you check it out. You can go below the video in the description and get links there for all the materials from the bobbins to the disc to the cord as well. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.